Hey, so I was playing the new Spider-Man game, which is really fucking good, by the way. But I noticed when I got to the scene that they showed at E3 that they changed something. And no, I'm not talking about the puddle. Here's the clip from E3. Near the end, we see Spidey reach the helicopter he was chasing, and then he's shocked to find out that this guy is a bad guy. Martin Lee is Mr. Negative. Spider-Man has some dialogue that tells us that he somehow knew this dude and that he's bummed out that Martin Lee has gone down this evil path, right?
Lee, this is crazy! This isn't you! You don't know me!
In the actual game, however, when this part comes up, Martin Lee is taken out entirely and replaced with a rando henchman for some reason. Weird, right? What's also strange is that in both scenes we see Spidey talk to Wilson Fisk on the phone twice and ask him about who the leader of the demons is. Who, spoiler, is Martin Lee. The first time is the same in both scenes. The second time, however, is slightly different.
Who runs the demons?
You're about to find out. Check the roof.
Who runs the demons?
Maybe he's there. Maybe he isn't. Check the roof.
See how he added a maybe he isn't? And well, I mean, he wasn't. So why'd they keep that part in the game? It doesn't... Why would they do that?
Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't.
He's not. Why did you say that? Never explains. Maybe he was a little bit ago and he left. I don't know. But again, I love this game. I want to be clear about that. I'm just complaining about this one thing. More or less. So, you know, whatever. I'm going to complain about it some more now. Why'd they show such a massive spoiler revealing that Martin Lee is Mr. Negative at E3? Now, some of you friggin' webheads out there might be saying, actually, it's hardly a spoiler. Mr. Negative has been in the comics, you ignorant dolt. And while that's true, he's only been around since 2007 when he made a cameo on the Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day issue and didn't even make a full appearance until 2008 when he showed up in the Amazing Spider-Man 546. And come on, get real. Most people don't know who this guy is. And I mean, he's cool, but yeah, I mean, just go ahead. Go ask your average person who this guy is. Ask your dad who Mr. Negative is. He'd probably say, I don't know who that is. What makes that spoiler even worse is that the story builds up Martin Lee as this super great guy who runs a homeless shelter that Spidey's Aunt May works at.
5 years ago, you walked in here and told me you were inspired by my mission to help others. Now it's you who inspires me. Thank you, May, for everything.
He's the big old philanthropist type that, you wouldn't think would turn evil, even though it's not like the first time a good guy has turned bad in Spider-Man or, comics or in general. But you get what I'm saying. It's supposed to be surprising. The game expresses multiple times that Peter is a big fan of Martin Lee and is glad that his aunt has such a good dude for a boss. It also talks about how Martin Lee has a soft spot for Peter because they were both orphans. And yeah, there's a connection there, So you would think that when Spider-Man finds out that Mr. Lee is in fact Mr. Negative, he'd have some kind of shocked initial reaction. Something like, I can't believe it! He's a supervillain! What the fuck? But that doesn't happen because I'm pretty sure that reaction was what was in the E3 clip that was replaced. Shortly after that change scene in the game, we see Peter and MJ at Miles Morales' dad's ceremony where he's getting the Department Medal of Honor. When suddenly, Martin Lee shows up and starts wrecking up the place. We see Spider-Man seeing Lee transform for the first time in the game, but he has no reaction to it. Then we see Spider-Man a scene or two later calmly talking about how Martin Lee is Mr. Negative, like it hardly affects him.
Have you started looking for Martin Lee yet?
No, I told you I can't start a manhunt based on a hunch from Spider-Man.
But I'm telling you, he's the guy!
Get me some solid evidence and we'll talk.
It just, kind of accepts it. It's very strange. I guess when you're Spider-Man for 8 years, you start to be like, wow, no way. Another bad guy. I can't believe it. I mean, but could you imagine anything else taking out that crucial, shocked reaction?
No. I am your father.
And don't get me wrong, later in the game, it shows that Spidey wants to save Martin Lee from himself, and it kind of connects to all that stuff I mentioned before about Peter respecting the guy and the relationship and all that. But still, no initial reaction? I'm not alone in thinking that's odd, right? It's strange. I don't know. One other thing, and it's unrelated, but I mean, speaking of not having a strong initial reaction when there should definitely be one, at the end, during the credits, Peter finds out Miles has Spidey powers and is just all like, okay, me too.
It's pretty weird, right? Not that weird.
Not, holy shit, how do you have Spider-Man powers? I'm the only Spider-Man. What's going on here? Just, wow, you also have Spider-Man powers. And Miles is like, oh, you were Spider-Man this whole time? Okay. And you'd think Miles would be like,
It's me, Miles. I'm Spider-Man. No, he can't be. I'm freaking out.
but he isn't. His expression is mildly shocked at best. Why'd they do that? Am I crazy? Does this only bother me? I don't know. Wouldn't have been that hard to just put in a, oh wow, no way, right? I don't know. Anyway, this game is fantastic. I give it 10 out of 10 webs. You can take selfies. Go play it.